What is going on, garden fans? Welcome back to the Permaculture Homestead. I am at the project site today. I'm going to do a quick walk about the food forest, kind of highlighting some of the things that we are harvesting at this time of year. It is June 2026 here in Zone 8, South Carolina, and this food forest project is going on its 9th year. So 9 years it's taken to get to this thick, dense, lush and diverse food forest. So kind of taking a broad look here. I'm at the top of the hill of the project. I'm gonna work my way down today. Kind of a broad look and just a quick identification. We have pomegranate here, a little hedge of hazelnuts behind that. In the foreground we have some jujube, and the jujube are going to be the next thing that we're harvesting over the next 2 months. If we leave that fruit on there till in the fall, it'll kind of shrivel up and turn into a date. That's where it gets its other name, Chinese date, from. So one jujube, we have another jujube right next to it, pomegranate right behind it, and then that's flanked by another small hedge of hazelnut here that's coming up. That hazelnut hedge is a little bit shaded by the Chinese chestnut right next to it. The chestnuts are looking beautiful. Big giant cannonballs of chestnuts are coming on right now. Those cannonballs are not going to be ready till about September, October, when they're cracking open and dropping their nuts. But this Chinese chestnut at 9 years old is absolutely loaded down. It is over 40 feet tall at this point in the game, and it's got a good bit of fruit tree companions around it. Right next to it is an Ozark plum, already fruited. Behind it is a mulberry, and that mulberry is more of a pollinating mulberry to help out the other mulberries we got, get some pollination, cross-pollination. As I walk down this swale paddy, we have a pecan tree, 9 years old, finally starting to put on some height. I think this will be the first year that it tries to set some nuts. So we'll see how that pecan goes. It has a companion of gummy berry right in the foreground. That was a nurse crop, kind of giving it some shade throughout the year. We're going to be harvesting gummy berry within the next month. Another thing we're going to be harvesting, all the Asian pears out here. These are the hard bottling pears, basically. These are great for boiling up, canning, and bottling. All the Asian pear we got out here are so loaded down with fruit that they're just pulling branches down. So we have 2 Asian pears out here, both of them loaded down, and we're going to be harvesting them quite soon. As I step onto this swale paddy, I will point out the other Chinese chestnut we have here. We have 2 of them here in the landscape. Once again, just helps out with cross-pollination. With all the nut trees, I tried to get 2 or 3 of them out here of each cultivar to get some cross-pollination. Here's an all-in-one almond tree, still somehow making it 9 years later. It's been very slow to grow, but I believe that now it's established, it's going to really start blowing up. Next to that Chinese chestnut, we have another mulberry. That is a fruiting mulberry. And as I step down onto the second mound, you're just going to see how thick and dense it is out here. Here's another plum tree. There's a mulberry tree in the foreground. We have elderberry all along most of these swale paddies, or the swale mounds, sorry. I'm kind of using elder, as a, not just a hedge, but also as a stabilizer of the swale mounds. They're going to get their roots in there and kind of establish them as a permanent fixture here in the landscape. So I definitely use elderberry. As I chop and drop them, those chop and drop clippings become material to keep the mounds built up. Here is a Japanese persimmon. We have 2 of these on site, and both of them are absolutely loaded down. The fruit on these aren't going to be ready till about September, October, maybe even November. Depending on the weather and the moisture level we get. As I'm going to walk down this swale, I want to just kind of give you a look inside, deep inside the canopy here. So I'm right underneath a Chinese chestnut. I'm going to look up and just give you an idea of the microclimates that we're creating here. Very shady forest floor. We've mowed, we've chopped and dropped, we've wood chipped over everything for some recent tours. So it looks kind of clean and manicured right now. I'm walking along a swale mound right now. Here you can kind of see the delineation between one swale paddy and the other. What I love about this hazelnut patch right here is this is going to be basically the seed of more hazelnuts. These hazelnuts have gotten well established here. I'm going to be pulling up a lot of these runners and potting them on for sale and for transplant to other areas around South Carolina. The genetics are great. They put on a good amount of nuts, and I've been very impressed with the hazelnuts here on this site. Got a fig in the foreground here. That is a companion for another pecan tree. The pecan tree right next to it has this shrub layer underneath it. This is pineapple guava, fehoa. Behind that is another jujube. So you can kind of see the patterning here. We have these centralized nut trees flanked and surrounded by fruit trees and then shrubs closer in. And that is the pattern that we are trying to mimic here, trying to mimic nature. Here's that same giant hedge of pecan, I'm sorry, these are not pecans, these are hazelnuts. And all the hazelnuts are putting on great amount of nuts this year. Once again, I really like the genetic here. They're starting to catkin again. They may give us another flush in the fall. But here are the hazelnuts for the year. Once again, looking good. These aren't going to be ready till about September themselves. Same story with the pomegranate. Every pomegranate tree out here is absolutely loaded down with fruit. And provided we get a good amount of rain, all these pomegranates should be doing really good. Here, as I turn around, another pomegranate tree, another jujube, another pomegranate, more jujube behind that. Very Mediterranean climate, and we're growing a lot of Mediterranean fruits, trees, and shrubs out here. And we've got this whole area. It's kind of mixed with Li and Lang jujube. And like I was saying, all the jujube are loaded down with fruit. These are going to be ready within the next month or so. If you want to pick them early, they have an apple-like taste and crunch to them. If you leave them on the tree till a little later in the year, they start to soften up, shrivel up, and get a little sweeter. That's how it gets its name, Chinese date. But all of the jujube trees, 9 years in, are absolutely loaded down with fruit. There is the other persimmon companion plant. I'm going to turn around here, show you another hedge of fehoa right here. Here are two Chickasaw plums, already fruited, flowered, everything. They're done for the year. And that's kind of the pattern here, garden fans. We got an open space here in this field where we had an old cherry tree. Absolutely chopped it all the way down. It's done. We're gonna have to find something else to put in this space. Hopefully another nut tree, but if not, we'll probably get some more fruit trees in there. You can start to see, look at this, just this dense food forest is exactly what I was looking to accomplish here. And we're here in about 9 years. Once again, this is a 9-year-old food forest. If you look back on the playlist that we have for Locklayer's Project Farm, you can go all the way to the beginning and see that this was an empty hillside just 9 years ago. Nothing growing on it whatsoever. A lot of the small fruits that are early in the spring, about done harvesting. I'm coming down to the bottom of the hill here where the diversity changes a little bit. We go from more Mediterranean to a little more southern. So we're growing mayhaws, which are native to the south. We got blueberries as an understory to those mayhaws, and then more figs and pawpaws on the downhill side. Blueberries themselves, still looking really good. I mean, definitely ripening up even more. I planted so many different varieties of blueberries. We have high bush, low bush. We got rabbit eye blueberries. We have pink lemonade blueberries out here. And these guys are absolutely loaded down. What I like about the different varieties is that we end up harvesting through a few months of the season instead of harvesting all at once. Just love to have this genetic diversity so we can find what works best. And so far, all the blueberries are doing really good. This one's going to ripen a little bit later, so you can start to see what I'm talking about, where we're harvesting some blueberries early in the season, and as we get going through the season, we're going to get more blueberries from different varieties. All the fig trees are putting on this year. This is another fruit that's going to be ready within this month or so, a month or two. Let me give you a peek at some of the figs. And just like the blueberries, we have a bunch of different varieties of figs out here. We have Black Mission figs, we have Brown Turkey figs, we have LSU Gold. We even have some Celeste figs out here. And while they've been kind of slow to grow over 9 years, the ones that have managed to get established are doing really good and finally putting on a lot of fruit and a lot of growth every year for us. Let me turn around here. Some of the natives that we're allowing to grow, the winged sumac. Of course, we got some more gumi berry as a hedge. And I'm going to peek down at the very bottom here. These gumi are all fruiting up right now. At least should be. Yeah, here we go. I got some gumi coming on. Those are going to be ready in about a month or so. The pawpaw trees that are kind of hiding in the shade of those gumi. Should be putting on fruit somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Pawpaw are finally putting on fruit. Now mind you, most of these pawpaws started out as about a 1-foot stick in the ground. So here we are 9 years later, getting to be about 15 feet tall and finally setting fruit. I'm gonna step back one more time, folks, give you a broad look at the place. Here is a catawba tree. This is native to South Carolina. This leguminous nitrogen fixing shrub. I'm sure the Native Americans know how to process those. I'm gonna have to look into that, but the whole food forest, garden fans, is looking really thick, really dense. For those of you who've been sticking around for the full 9 years, I appreciate you coming by as always. Please like, share, and subscribe. That's what really helps us out. The vegetable garden here at the bottom of the hill is doing excellent. There's so many different things growing. Eggplant, peppers, we got marigold, corn, tomatoes, squash. We got all the companion planted herbs to go with it. Mint, thyme. We have sage growing through here. And then there's this beautiful hedge of comfrey that we're about ready to start chopping and dropping down. Also acting as a bit of a rhizome barrier, keeping some of the grasses from encroaching upon the garden. So here we are at the bottom of the hill, garden fans. Once again, appreciate you coming out. This has been a fun project to work on. We're going to start expanding in general this channel, working on a much bigger project to come. So please like, share, and subscribe if you want to see the future of food forestry here in South Carolina. Appreciate y'all coming. God bless.